Hello and welcome to the Empower Couples podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I am one of your hosts, Aaron Freeman.
And I'm Jocelyn Freeman, but you all just know us as the Freemans.
And this episode is about the bare minimum to expect in a marriage.
Which I know sounds like, why are we even talking about the bare minimum? Because if you listen to our episodes, this isn't about surviving life together. We want you to thrive. However, we feel we need to make this very clear because of some of the frankly sad and horrifying comments that we've read in some of our posts more recently. And in a way, it was crazy because a lot of people called women insufferable for, frankly, just wanting the bare minimum, which you're going to hear us describe, even simply just a response from a partner. Is that a lot to ask for?
And here's the change that we're making. When you read this title, you probably thought, and this was intentional, that the bare minimum to expect would be about your partner, but today is about the bare minimum to expect from yourself.
And you want to both listen to this one. So send it to your partner and say, we're both listening to this.
Commit to it yourself first.
Because we both want to live into these standards. So let's really dive in. We want to get right to it. Number one, bare minimum integrity. Like, how does a relationship, if you think about the foundation to your partnership, the foundation of a house, do you want to buy a house with cracks in the foundation? Are you like, yeah, I want to invest my money into this house that has cracks? No. So that is the foundation of your partnership, is integrity. So we defined it as you say what you mean and you mean what you say. So even a practical example of this is, let's say your partner says, hey, can you do blank? Could be something small, simple, maybe it's big. And if you just say yes out of compliance, which we've talked about that in other episodes, but you want them to get off your back, or you just are like, yeah, you want to make them happy, but you're not that committed to actually doing it, then that's not integrity. That's not your word meaning something. Now, we're not expecting you to be perfect. We aren't flawless. We mostly keep our word. I'll tell you that. Integrity is extremely important to us. We do everything in our power to keep our word because we want to be able to count on each other, but we also own up to it. Integrity is also, if you don't follow through, if you forget, or if something happens, that you own up to it and you say, you're right, or you bring it to them. Hey, I know I had promised this. I didn't do it. It's not about reporting to them. I don't want you to think like, what are they, my manager? No, this isn't, again, about your partner having to manage you. This is the standard you have for yourself, that you want to be a person of integrity, that you care about what your word means to people.
Mm-hmm. If you're in a place where you feel like trust is low, that your partner doesn't trust you as much, you could complain and say, you don't trust me. Or you could look at, where have I not been having integrity? Where have I not been my word?
Mm-hmm.
And you can start to clean that up. And that's how you rebuild trust. So I want to move to the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Second one being respect. And this one is very conceptual, I feel. You could say, well, number one, you need to respect me. But obviously we're turning this around, and your bare minimum being to respect your partner. So simply being that you treat your partner how you want to be treated. Okay. You also just want to show them that you value them and that you honor them.
Mm-hmm. And I think honor, that can also be a word that we hear like in our vows, right? I promise to love, honor, and cherish you, and just kind of be like a nice word. But the way you treat your partner, the way you talk to them, your tone, even the way you talk about your partner, is it honoring of them? If they listened in to how you talked about them to friends, to family, to someone, would they feel honored? Now, it doesn't mean you can't have a mentor, a therapist, a coach that you are like, here's how I'm feeling and how do I change this? But I think it's really important that in your daily interactions that you do respect and honor each other. This includes the tone. This includes not using criticisms and critiques and putting them down. And we've been hearing that a lot, whether it's been at the workshops that we've led, in sessions recently, is that one partner will feel like a certain word or a phrase is a criticism, and the other person's like, well, in my family, we could say things like that. Well, in a sense, it doesn't matter that it was okay in your family. If it for them is hurtful, then you have to honor that and respect that. So it doesn't matter what your culture was, or if in your family it was totally fine to say those things because you just, whatever, it was your family. Okay, but you're not married to them. You are married to your partner. And if it's hurtful to them, you have to know those boundaries. So respect is also honoring boundaries.
Yeah, I was going to be saying expect that you will have differences and you're going to have different needs.
Mm-hmm.
So respect that you're different people and you
Mm-hmm.
have different needs and that you just have to meet them.
Yeah. It kind of seems before we move on that silly that we have to describe this, but in the reel that is getting a lot of attention and where we're getting these comments, a lot of people were even saying, so I was modeling bringing something up to Aaron and he doesn't respond. He's like looking in the fridge. And then when I go, hello, he goes, what? I heard you. That was us modeling that that's not cool, right? It's like we want to be attentive to our partner. We want to respect our partner. So respect is also answering your partner when they're talking to you. And if you're busy, you're distracted, that's fine. We're not saying you have to be on demand, but at least say, "Hey, let me finish something," or "Hey, hold on a minute, I'm just thinking through something." So a response is not too much to ask for. That's just basic respect. Your boss, your friend, your family member, someone you admire, you would respond to them. So you want to treat your partner better than everyone else, ideally.
Hmm. You want to start the third one for us?
Yeah. So you had mentioned this as well because it's paired with integrity, but trust. And so trust is part of that foundation as well. That is, if we were to simplify it, that your actions and words align. You provide your partner reassurance through your behavior. Like that is something you want your partner to feel, that you are guarding the relationship. You're transparent in your communication. So being a trustworthy partner isn't just waiting till your partner brings something to you. So money has been a
Mm.
topic recently with couples. And let's say I like overspent. Like I know our agreement around money and I overspent. Well, valuing the trust in our relationship would be me coming to you and saying, "Hey, I know we have this agreement. I did overspend. I'm sorry that I didn't bring this up to you." That'd be me being transparent. I would be putting our trust on the line, you being able to count on me if I was like, "Well, let me just see if he catches me." Right? That's not going
Mhm.
to have you trust in me. So like I think that they're both T words, right? Trust and transparency. And that your
Mm.
actions do not give your partner reason to doubt you. And that means in all senses, like who you're talking to, who you chat with, the accounts you look at, what you do online, everything. It should be that if they saw what you do, if they saw who you were interacting with, all the things, that they would be able to trust you. I think
Mhm.
that's really, really important.
Yeah, building trust can often come even more so in moments like you're describing. It's that you're willing to risk a short term disappointment
Mm,
for the longer term benefit of I was vulnerable enough and I took the risk in a sense, knowing that that's going to be better in the long term because I'm bringing this to you before you just find out.
absolutely. So, trust, being a trustworthy person, not too much to ask for. Let's go to the next bare minimum expectation in a marriage, and that is partnership. We defined this as you operate as a we and not just an I. And this is important because just because you get married, just because you have children together, merge finances, doesn't mean you've actually shifted your identity and your attention to think as a team, as a we. Some people still really operate as I'm an individual and I want it my way and I want freedom and I want to be right. And you are a team. So now when you become a partnership, your actions affect another person. So just because you want to do it, just because this is how you'd prefer it, well, you're in a marriage now. And that means we have to combine two perspectives. And of course, there's nuances to this and there's variances, but as a whole, do you operate as a partner, as a teammate? When I do this, it's going to have a ripple effect on them. And so being that conscientious person, so we also put that it's considerate. Are you considerate? Are you cooperative with the other person? And you want to actually see them as a partner. And that's really important because when we talk to couples, we'll notice that their perception of the other person has really changed to more of, honestly, sometimes an enemy. Like, this is an enemy I have to, just fight against, get my way with, get off my back, do what I want, instead of seeing them as this partner. And this also means being partner in the roles. So this is something really important that you're auditing often using like our check-in, family meeting templates and things like that, is making sure that you both feel aligned in your roles and it doesn't feel like this big imbalance with
Mhm.
things.
Number 5 here is effort. And it's that you consistently show your partner that you care and that you love them through action.
Mhm.
And just like filling up your gas tank or putting money in a bank account, you're going to have withdrawals. You're going to stomp on the accelerator. It's going to use more gas at times. So it's not something that just stays there. The love and the care is not something that's going to just be there if you don't put in the effort.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of this also has to do with effort to look at your own patterns. I mean, similar to some of the things you said about partnership and cooperation, if you aren't willing to look at, and when I say you, the listener, I mean all of us. If all
Mhm.
of us don't think that there are some, all right, I'm gonna be bold here,
Mhm.
some pathetic parts of ourselves
Ooh.
that don't need to die off, like we don't have immature impulses,
Mm.
we don't have things in our past that we haven't really looked at, things in our perception and our attitudes that don't need some upgrade. I mean,
Mm.
you really better check yourself.
Mm.
We all have these things. So if you think you're just going to stay the person you are and not have to change anything, I'm sorry to tell you, like, it's not going to work out for you
Mhm.
overall. So the effort to actually look at the places within yourself that actually need to die off, that need to be upgraded,
Mm.
not just as the person you are, but as the partner you are.
Yeah.
So that really takes looking at the places where you have not been stepping up and meeting the needs of your partner, whether that's in communication or, as we move into the last one, your role in repair and
Yeah.
initiating repair, and really looking at the places that my own patterns are really leading us into a lower love account place, for
Mm.
example, or the places in which I'm not following through and I'm not being integral.
Yeah.
And the active effort to upgrade all those things to better meet your partner's need and raise the overall satisfaction.
I just want to say a couple more things about the effort before moving to that one, is that you actively work against complacency. And I know that's a
Mm,
pretty strong way to say it, but as a default, human beings, frankly, we can get really comfortable and lazy because part of our brain is designed to actually be efficient and minimize the amount of energy that we use. So we're often looking for like efficiency and lowering our, energy expenditure, and that's not great for your marriage. We're not saying that you can't get comfortable in a relationship. However, complacency is when you aren't putting effort for the other person to feel loved, appreciated, cared for in the way that they want to experience that. Doesn't mean you have to be putting out rose petals every Friday night for dinner and things like that. That may be nice from time to time,
or
but we're
completely
talking
sacrifice yourself to every whim. Like,
right.
we're not saying that.
Yeah, but it's about making deposits to the love account.
Yeah.
Like, frankly, that's why we love the love account principle that we talk about so often, which, by the way, it's coming up on Valentine's Day. Now, we're not the biggest fans, you could say, of Valentine's Day. However, we do think that it's nice to do a little something for a partner. And for some of you, you love Valentine's Day. And if you want a great gift for them, then give them our 30-day couples challenge. We are going to temporarily open it. Again, we don't normally make it available in the middle of the month, but we are going to make it available for those of you who want to give it to your partner for Valentine's Day. So go to mycoupleschallenge.com. You'll also see that linked in the show notes. That's an incredible gift to give to your partner. No matter when you hear this, it's just a great way to fill your love accounts and put the effort in to your
Oh,
relationship.
yeah.
So, with that, Aaron mentioned something really key, and this is one of the last bare minimum principles that we think you should expect in a relationship, and that is
From yourself,
from yourself,
first of
yes,
all.
but from the marriage as a whole, and that is repair. That you take responsibility for your part in conflicts, that you seek mutual understanding, not being right, and staying in that standoff, staying in that argument hangover just because you're right and they're the wrong one. They were more, the person that did the wrong things. And this is key. I think that repair and being willing to initiate, apologies and let's talk through this and let's understand each other. It's that you want to protect each other's peace. You two do not live peaceful when you are in an argument hangover, when you aren't repairing. You're both stressed. Some of you lose sleep and you're not having the best day. That's not peaceful. That's not joy. So protect each other's peace by being willing to repair, take responsibility for your part in conflicts. That is a bare minimum. That is not too much to ask for. Is it easy all the time? No. It can take humbling ourselves, getting out of our comfort zone, and learning how to repair, which of course we cover that a lot in our episodes. And by the way, if you're new to listening to our podcast, make sure that you hit subscribe so you can listen to past episodes as well as get notified for future ones. And if you are a fan, you've been listening for a bit, it helps us if you give us a great rating. Hopefully you want to give us 5 stars, but we really appreciate you guys listening. Make sure that you dive into our resources that we have available outside of our episodes. We mentioned our 30-day couples challenge. We have several guides like our steps to rebuild a marriage guide, family meeting guide, but you can see all of those on our website. We really want to support you in thriving, not just surviving marriage, right? Because we believe that partnership can be incredible throughout the year. So thanks for listening, and we will talk to you on the next episode.